Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report, and coming up here on today's show, we got an interview with Charles Woodson and Howie Long. Both of those guys are going to be talking about Derek Carr, Aaron Rodgers, and Josh Jacobs. But today's show is presented by Yum Wolf. 50% off your trial at yumwolf.com. It's going to be available for you guys in the comments and in the description of today's video. So last week I asked you, how can I make this show better? And it was the main people were like, Mitch, love the show, but I can't make it a 10 because you don't have any interviews. I said, fair enough. How can I get this show to a 10? I am committed to all y'all. So what we did was we had our team go out to Super Bowl 57 Media Row. They sat down with Charles Woodson. They sat down with Howie Long, and they asked them some questions. So if you like the idea of this, please give us a like right now on the video. My question to you, though, is this. Both are Raiders legends. Who's the bigger legend? Is it Charles Woodson, type 24, or is it Howie Long, type 75? What we're going to do here is we're going to start off with the Charles Woodson interview. I'm going to give my takeaways to it. And then we're going to do a Howie Long interview, and I will give my takeaways to that. So coming up right now here, an interview with Charles Woodson.
Raiders rumors are really hot right now about their interest potentially in Aaron Rodgers. Davante Adans has made no secret that he would like to pair back up with Aaron Rodgers. For that organization that's really been starved for a quarterback, what do you think Rodgers could do for the Raiders? What do you think that connection could be for that offense? And do you believe that there's any juice behind those rumors and buzz that he could go to Las Vegas?
I don't know how real that part of it is, but of course, Davante is trying to get that old thing back, you know what I mean? Him and A-Rod together for, so many years, man, one of the top, quarterback and receiver duos in the league, so I can certainly see where Davante is coming from. I've seen some clips of him kind of lobbying for A-Rod to get there, and I just think it does a couple things if that were to happen. It would bring a lot of positive buzz, around the Raiders franchise. Getting the quarterback right is crucial, in this league. If you can get a guy of that caliber to play with Davante, hopefully Jacobs gets back, and they can make sure, solidify the protection for A-Rod with the offensive line. That could be a game changer, for the Raiders. So, the time will tell what will happen, but I wouldn't mind seeing it.
If you want more interviews, subscribe for more Raiders interviews. I'm going to do everything in my power to try to make it happen. Hopefully you enjoy this one with Charles Woodson, and hopefully you enjoy the one with Howie Long. So please hit that subscribe button. All right, so here is going to be our breakdown of my 5 takeaways from that Charles Woodson interview. The first one, he said he understands that Tay is recruiting Aaron Rodgers. He should understand it. Why? Because Davante Adans, Aaron Rodgers, they have an amazing duo. They've played a lot of solid football together throughout their career. Rodgers, he's won 3 MVPs with Davante. When you can add a quarterback of that caliber to your team, you have to at least give it a go. And if Rodgers wants to, it's going to help you realistically also have other people come to the Raiders. More spotlight, it's a good thing. It would bring a positive buzz. I heard a lot of the stuff that he was saying in terms of a lot of the stuff around the Raiders. We got to be able to face the facts. Recently, hasn't been great. This past season, they blew a lot of leads. 2021, Gruden, Ruggs. The year before that, busted draft picks. It's been a lot of negative talk around the Raiders for a long time. If you can get somebody like Rodgers and win a little bit, it's good. That's getting a quarterback of his caliber. I agree in terms of some people can say that Rodgers has taken a step down. He probably has. But the last time we saw Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adans on the field together, he won MVP not only once, but back-to-back NFL MVPs. 37 touchdowns, 48 touchdowns. Rodgers and Davante have proven to me that they at least deserve another chance. So how about this, though, right? Because when you talk about Rodgers, there's a lot of people that are going to put him in that conversation of, is he a top 5 quarterback? Why for yes? And for no. I think if you make this trade, you're hoping that he can be a top 5. Because I don't know if he is a top 5 right now, coming off the year that he did. But anytime that man is on the field, and if he's motivated, he has the opportunity to be. But is he one right now? Let me know. Why for yes and for no. My dad apparently says no. He wants Jacobs back. I heard this and I was ecstatic. When he said he wants Josh Jacobs back, there you go. Jacob said that he'd be willing to do franchise tag as long as the Raiders had a lot of talent around him. So you got him saying he wants Jacobs back. If Woodson's saying it, I'm on board. And then he wouldn't mind Rodgers to Las Vegas. He knows that he wants to win. He knows that Rodgers does give you a better chance to win. In a perfect world, sure, there are going to be people out there that might want C.J. Stroud. And if Stroud's successful, then great. But for the Raiders, you know that he's a Packer guy, Woodson. And I think with you have both people being able to combine, win football games, that's all that matters. Now, today's interviews are presented by Yum Wolf. If you haven't already, go to yumwolf.com. 50% off your trial at yumwolf.com. They are the #1 dog food that I trust from my guy Chuck. It's soft and chewy. #1 ingredient is fresh meat. It's got a 1-year shelf life and #1 in MCTs and antioxidants. Yum Wolf is the only dog food for better gut health. Their air-dried food is GMO-free and has a inflammation-reducing recipe made to heal your gut or dog with omega-3 and coconut oil. It's all the benefits of fresh food without the fridge, carbs, fillers, seed oils, and other inflammatory ingredients you see in other brands. Yum Wolf obsessively crafted a healthy low-carb food with humanely raised USDA meat, eggs, and non-GMO superfoods that my dog loves. Oh, and it comes in a biodegradable packaging too. So I've been using Yum Wolf with Chuck for about 3 weeks now. And yes, that's my guy Chuck. I know, he's a cute guy. But to be honest with you, since he's been a puppy, maybe TMI, his poops, not great. He also doesn't eat his food right away. I've been using these guys for 3 weeks, and as soon as I put the food in the bowl, eats it. And that obviously makes me happy. I've spent a lot of time, money, figuring out why is Chuck got an upset belly. Yum Wolf has taken a lot of that stress off my shoulders. So for that, I will forever be grateful. And I'm happy that Chuck likes Yum Wolf. And I think if your dog's got some stomach issues, hey, all I say is this. Give it a try. Next thing coming up here is going to be our interview with Howie Long. So again, our team is out at the Super Bowl. All these interviews that you see being recorded are from my guy Chase Sr. If you want more interviews, he's been posting a bunch of them. But yes, our team is out at the Super Bowl, and they're getting all these interviews. So this one here is on Howie Long.
You know as much as anybody how passionate Raider fans are, and they so desperately want to win. And right now, there's some questions at that quarterback spot.
We have that in common.
Yes, with Derek Carr potentially leaving, and Davante Adams has made it be known that he'd like to team up with Aaron Rodgers, and there's a lot of buzz and rumors on that front. What do you make of the Derek Carr departure and the potential of Aaron Rodgers maybe coming to the Raiders?
Well, you know, one, I think the Derek Carr Raiders situation had just, you know, look, everything has a shelf life. And he's had, I think, 6, 7 coaches, a number of different systems, you know, vernacular, which is learning a whole new language. It was obvious that he wasn't as comfortable with this new language. You can have all the players. You can have, you know, all-pro tight end, all-pro wide receiver, good receiving group, slot receiver, great running back. If everyone's not on the same page and feel comfortable executing the plays and the system, it's going to be up and down. And we saw it was up and down. A lot of kind of blown leads, losses at the end of games. I thought the team last year that beat the Chargers to get into the playoffs had a distinct identity. And, you know, I thought that team had an identity. This team struggled to find its identity. Hopefully, you know, Derek finds his new place to go. I think it's a great opportunity for him for a fresh start. There's certainly going to be a market for him. And I think whoever comes into the Raiders, wherever that is, whether it's on the roster or not, at quarterback, hopefully they find the Rodgers thing. The only thing that scares me with the Rodgers thing is, or it's the only kind of fly in the ointment, is you've got a head coach who has a specific system that he's run for decades. Aaron Rodgers has run a separate system, different language, different routes, different, you name it, calls, checks, whatever. Where does that line up? That's the big question.
Wanted to say thanks to Howie and Charles for sitting down with our team at Super Bowl 57. Appreciate the interviews. I know Raider Nation wanted a lot more of those on our channel, so I was happy that we were able to deliver those for you. So we heard Howie Long talk. Here's my takeaways on that. Carr and the Raiders, they had a shelf life. You heard Howie say it. I think both sides know it's the right decision. It's the best thing for the Raiders to move on. It's the best thing for Derek to move on. I hope Derek nothing but the best. Obviously, if they come up against the Raiders, I'm going to want the Raiders to win. But when you don't win anything in 9 years, let's face it, it is time to move on. The 2022 Raiders, they had no identity. When he said that, I was like, all right, I'm glad he said it, because usually teams that don't have an identity, that falls on your head coach. It falls on your leader. And yeah, they're going to make Derek the scapegoat, which I don't think is 100% right in that. But when you see that team in 2021 with Bisaccia, they were not the most talented team, but they played as a family, and that was their identity. This Raiders team last year, they didn't have one, and that falls on McDaniels, so he needs to figure out how to get this Raiders team an identity. There is going to be a market for Carr. The latest rumors around them at the time that I am recording this is DC has visited with the Saints not once, but twice, and they seem like the front runner. The reason why I see a Derek Carr trade going down is because if he does become a free agent, teams like New Orleans are probably not going to be able to sign him, because if you're a team like Carolina, you're going to offer him a lot more money to go there instead of him going to the Saints. And because of that, I think that New Orleans is a team that tries to restructure his contract and get a deal done. He is worried about Rodgers learning the system. We saw Derek really struggle with McDaniels' system, and you've heard a lot of people say, I mean, it's like learning a new language. Rodgers is basically played in his system and his system only his entire career. So it's going to be something to watch, because Aaron Rodgers got a big ego. Josh McDaniels got a big ego. Are they going to clash, or is it going to work? We're going to find out. How worried are you, though, about Aaron Rodgers learning Josh McDaniels' system? I want a scale, 1 to 10. 1 being you're not worried at all. 10, you're freaking out. I'm going to be somewhere at about a 5. Then the last one is this. He just wants the Raiders to win. I think we all just want the Raiders to win, right? I think, the amount of conversations that we've had around this discussion, it just comes down to passionate people wanting the same thing, and that's just win, baby. So if it's with Aaron Rodgers, cool. If it's not with Aaron Rodgers, I don't care. I literally don't care. I just want to win. If you want to interact with me on social media, at Mitchell Renz 365. If you want more videos from me and some of the other goats in the chat, Raidersport.locals.com. I promise you this, I got a commitment to keeping you guys in the loop. So hopefully you like that, you understand it, and if you want more Raiders videos, make sure you subscribe.